Today I'm reacting to Chainsaw Man episode 5. The full reaction and next episode are on Patreon. Oh yeah, yes. Oh, good lord. Oh, he did it. Okay. Oh my god. For God's sake. Yeah, I knew there had to be something up. I knew she was gonna be doing something.
胸パッドじゃな。
何ですか?
胸が大きくなる不思議合い。あと一揉み。
It's ridiculous.
はい、終わりさ。どうじゃ、ウヌラの仕事手伝ってやるわ。
Well, that's nice of her.
改めてよろしくな。どうもねるぞ。
That cat is so cute, by the way. Hey, you got what you wanted. I love that dancing bit. I meant to mention that a few times. Okay, so where's this gonna go with Dainji? I really don't have much of a clue. I just looked and he was doing the 1,000-year stare. This is so good. This is funny. I like this. He's just going through the motions. He's just become a zombie. Yeah, that's what's happening with him. Sounds so philosophical out of context. That's great framing, by the way, with her arm. What's she gonna do? She's gonna reprimand him? Oh, he's learning about intimacy. All these establishing shots are gorgeous, by the way. And in the previous episode, her boss is telling her not to get attached. And we are going there. Okay. God, he looks like he's possessed. Oh, that's a great way to mirror the shot of her at the end of the last episode. Of Power, that is. Okay, please tell me you're gonna think of anything else other than what's on your head. Denji, be better than this. And poor lad doesn't even see how badly he's being played. So that's our plot device. Okay. Of course they did. Interesting. Who are these? Oh, yes, because it's 13 years ago. It is the guy we know. Oh, it's cute. This is good because we got some of his character in the last episode and now we're getting like an actual flashback character. Very lo-fi beats music happening in the background. What is gonna happen when he's gone? He's gonna be killed, isn't he? They wouldn't be writing this if there wasn't gonna be something tragic to ensue. Just get to it. What's gonna happen? Very interesting. Love that sound design as well. I believe in you. Great split of the screen that they did just there. So I wonder if Hayagawa is going to have a personal vendetta against the Gun Devil. Interesting. Very interesting. Oh, here he is.
雑魚悪魔にしちゃ強かったからな。
I think.
悪魔は全部殺す
Yes, it is him. I wasn't sure for a second.
奴がいる
ホテル内部で悪魔の目撃
Oh, of course. Reservoir Dogs. That's what their suits and walking is an homage to. I was wondering what it was in the credit sequence, and that's what it is.
6人を出動させます
Literally Reservoir Dogs.
それもこれはただの悪魔じゃない銃の肉片を食べた悪魔がいる
いいのそれわしによこせ
お前ら敬語はどうした
は
早川先輩
先輩
これから一緒に悪魔と戦う仲間として
Oh, that's cute.
もう片方はチンピラ
I love how playful of a character Power is as well. I like
逃
this.
げたり悪魔に寝返った場合は
畜生みたいな扱いじゃな
Well,
お前らに人権はない
あのいたずらはさすがにまずかった
what was a prank?
あれはいたずらレベルじゃねえ殺すぞ
怖っ。何があったの？
コウモリに殺されかけたと思ったらすぐ仕事だ褒美くれ
私が一肌脱いでやろう。
Are you gonna let him grope you as
倒
well?
した人にはなんと
私がほっぺにキスしてあ
Okay,
げま
not
す
as severe, but still.
結婚前の乙女がそんな身だらな
An unmarried maiden, give me a
や
break.
る気出るでしょ。
大丈夫やる気はあっから
Not this being his character motivation. Are you kidding me?
名前も知らねえあんたの唇には興味ないね
へ
The growth.
ベロ入れたキスしてあげる
This is such a different vibe from I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, which I've just watched.
それをどうぞのチンピラに唇を奪われるくらいならほっぺのキスは俺がもらう
And of course, Power's getting involved.
アキ君はこの新人4人生き残れると思う？
1年あれば死ぬか民間に行きます
アキ君は死なない。
I'm curious as well about their longevity. Another flashback? Wow, that's a grim scene.
姫野
Ooh.
新しいバディだうまくやれ
俺はアキよろしく
私のバディ、君で6人目。全員死んでるの。
Oh wow, she's just stoic. Okay, that's very interesting
ア
actually.
キ君は死なないでね。
It's so funny, when the show started I thought he was gonna just be a supporting character with like a little bit of screen time. What's gonna happen?
来る。
Great use of silence in this sequence. Yo! That is not what I expected.
捕まえた。
Power, as always.
わしにビビって浮き合ったわ
違う違う、私の力。私は幽霊の悪魔と契約してるの。
The Ghost Devil.
私の右目を食べさせた代わりにゴーストの右手を使えるってわけ。
Interesting.
こいつじゃないですね
そっか。じゃあ上の階に行くか。
Suck for those like hotel workers having to clean up the blood.
じゃあわしがこいつを殺すと言ったらどう
That
する
surprised me.
そう
Oh, that's great on the neck. That was good detail.
めんどくさいから仲良くやろうよ。
I'm so interested by the pacing of this. They're really, really taking their time here.
どうした
俺たち今
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The splatter looked the exact same.
ここも8階ですよ確認してくれ
決めたステーキにして食ってやる
新井くん、今階段降りていったよね。
Very, very interesting. That's a great visual. That's a really great visual. Ooh, spiral. Reminds me of Uzumaki. Okay, so my review for this episode is going to be relatively brief, given the fact that the episode itself was pretty relatively brief with regards to the plot. I mentioned in the reaction, I suppose to reiterate it here now, talking to you guys in the review, is I am quite surprised of how minimal the plot is for a 12 episode series, and I do understand that the manga is quite a good bit ahead of the series. I don't want to know the exact ins and outs. I know some people have commented on my reaction to the first episode about it. I kind of skimmed the comments. I don't want to know necessarily exactly what the timeline is for the manga to the series. I'm just going to watch the series when it comes out, and that's it, with no expectations. Nonetheless, I gotta say, I am really into this TV show going the pace that it is. TV show, anime, whatever. In the sense that, as some of you may know, I really do appreciate the slice of life genre of anime. Not to say that it's like my absolute go-to, it has to be slice of life anime, otherwise I won't watch it. I don't mean that at all. And also, to be fair, I am still very much getting used to anime. As it stands, there is still only 2 anime series that I've only ever watched fully from beginning to end, that being Death Note and Attack on Titan, and then smatterings other all across the board. But be that as it may, the point I'm trying to make is that I don't go into a new series kind of expecting, and Neon Genesis Evangelion, so that's 3. I don't particularly go into an anime series with a huge amount of expectations, especially with regards to genre. I just go for what people have told me is very, very good, and leave all my inhibitions aside, because I'll usually have a good time, and I certainly am with this. But I suppose the point I'm trying to make is that I appreciate that they are just spending so much time with like the world building. I suppose maybe a better term would be world reinforcement. Same with the characters, kind of character reinforcement, but we're getting the new characters, or rather the old characters who are relatively new, fleshed out a little bit more. We have the flashback with Himeno and the fact that she sacrificed her eye in order to gain the Ghost Devil ability. Hayakawa, who I understand on the show is actually referred to as Aki, I got that wrong, as well as the 2 other who are part of the crew, all of whom kind of resembling the Reservoir Dogs setup, and it makes sense why they have the Pulp Fiction shot in the OP for this show. Love the playful banter between Pawa and Denji, and oh my god, like I said it in the reaction, but like like his main external motivation being what it is not something that I thought was going to go past like the 3rd episode, and here we are firmly at the end of episode 5. Doesn't look like it's going away anytime soon. Of course, we did get some fleshing out as well with Mikama. I'm just going to double check that is her name in case I get that mixed up. Makima, pardon me. I was close enough though. We get the fleshing out of Makima with like the lengths she's willing to go through in order to keep Denji under her thumb. And I'm very curious to see exactly what's going to happen with her character, if we're going to get some kind of big reveal with her by the end of the season with exactly what it is that she's going for and what motivates her. But in general, we had short action sequences, but they were short and sweet. They were kind of as long as they needed to be. Again, love all the establishing shots. I love the mood and the tone that's established in this type of show. Is just very, very inviting. What I appreciate about Chainsaw Man so far is that they are going for something very specific, with this kind of being like a quirky action, dark comedy with like this seeming kind of like, I suppose you could, not even necessarily subtextual, but I guess this like background element of very, you could call it nihilism, but also just a very tragic backstory to everything that's going on, because it is essentially an apocalyptic world we're living in, even though it's not everything decayed and ruins like Fallout kind of apocalyptic, but it's a very dark and twisted view of what the future could be. This alternate future or alternate present of this fantastical world. And within that, to once again have so much screen time just dedicated to the jokes, just to the character interaction and the interpersonal squabbles and the inner narration, and how much of that coincides with the manga, I'm unsure of, because I haven't read the manga and I don't necessarily need nor want to know. But what I'm trying to say is that this is definitely strike me as a type of show that is not going to be for everyone with that regard. There's going to be other people who are going to be very impatient, wanting them to just get to the bloody point already. There's going to be other people who might find the humor to be a bit too grating, a little bit too crass, a little bit too cringe, and I do totally get that. But for me, it works. It works in the sense that it's it's very silly and over the top, but because you'll still get those grounded moments of deliberate, serious characterization, as well as just a very strong, interesting initial premise that so far they seem to be delivering on. There isn't as much action in this show as I thought there would be, but everything that is occurring seems to very much be as a result of the show acting in its own accordance. I suppose maybe a more succinct way of putting all this is that Chainsaw Man strikes me so far, now that I'm almost at the halfway mark, as a series that is very much marching to the beat of its own drum. And that's not going to work for some people. Totally get that. I can totally understand why some people may have, if they were shooting reactions like me, might have apologized to their audience and said, look, I'm sorry, but I just don't think this is going to work. I got to swap to a different show now. But for me, currently, I'm very enthralled, and I am very interested in finding out what's going to happen next. I'm sure that if you're watching these reactions, you're excited to see what I think next as well. I'm going to take a brief pause to drink. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I want to thank you so much for watching this review. You might have seen that my reactions to 2, 3, and 4 were review only for YouTube, with the full reactions on Patreon. Apologies for that. See, I've been going back and forth as to how much I would like this channel to be review focused versus reaction focused, and part of me taking the several months break that I unfortunately had to take for health reasons, it did also give me time to process what exactly I gain from doing this channel, but also what I want to put out there and what I want to receive, not just again from my own process, but from you guys as well. And whilst I do think that a review only format for YouTube, it does save me a lot of time, the end result that I thought I would be getting from just doing a review as its own video and then letting the reaction be its own thing on Patreon, it's not satisfying me in a way that I thought it would. But all the same, I'm very glad I gave it a go. As I mentioned on the full reaction before, I had about 14 videos worth of material of full reactions that I ended up just throwing all onto the Patreon on the end. You know, the last 5 episodes of Black Sails, episodes 3 to 5 of Cowboy Bebop, the last 4 episodes of the Fallout series. There was even an episode of Shogun there, as well as the entirety of the movie Perfect Blue. There was quite a lot given up, but at the same time, even though in hindsight it would have been great if maybe after coming back after my needed break, if I spent maybe a week or 2 or possibly even 3 just chopping them up and getting them up to YouTube, even if they're not 100% perfect. But at the same time, you know, I think it is important to just kind of move forward, especially having, after it being that so long of a break. That is not necessary for you to know. I just kind of wanted to give a little bit of a bit of an explanation as to what has been going on with the channel. And if you're watching this reaction, I take it that at this point I have now brought back in the early access Patreon. Maybe by the time you're seeing this, I've gone against the idea. I am chopping and changing a lot, but look, I'm not even at 1,000 subscribers yet. This is very much me figuring out exactly what I'm doing. And, you know, at this point in time, I'm for all intents and purposes, I'm really only on month 4 of my channel. If you're not including the break, it's only 16 weeks worth of like real experience doing this whole thing for the first time. So I think allowances can be made. That being said, I am very excited to get into the next episode, and I think that is what I'm going to do right now. If you've watched this far into the reaction, or even if you just skip to the end, for whatever amount of time you've watched this reaction, I want to thank you so much for doing so. This is really proving to be my favorite thing to do outside of whether or not there's an economic incentive. Like, just doing this in and of itself has proven to be so rewarding for me. And if the best way to streamline that and to reach an audience, not just for channel growth, but just in general to be able to communicate with people, if the best way to do that is by maintaining the edited reaction form on YouTube, then so be it. I will do that. And especially having taken the time to do that for the first episode of Chainsaw Man, it did dawn on me that, yeah, you know what, it's very draining and I do need to take more breaks and not burn myself out like I did back at the end of May. I had a lot going on. I had health issues. There was a lot going on. So I think that it is about me learning to pace myself. This is such a long outro for an episode where like 2 things happened. This is ridiculous. The main point is, again, I'm very grateful for you going out of your way to watch this review. It does sincerely mean a lot to me. I'm going to leave it there and get right into watching episode 6. Thank you once more for watching. Arigatou gozaimasu. Once again, thanks for watching.